Hi, my name is Caleb Tucker with Emergency Water and I'm a water treatment professional. I created the Easy Drum Cycler to easily clean your barrels of water without leaving harmful chemical residues. It was recently featured on Kickstarter and raised a bunch of money, and people from all over the USA are buying it. You're smart if you have drums for water storage. It's an inexpensive way to store lots of water. However, if you don't routinely clean it, the water can get stale and bacteria can start to grow. It can be a real hassle to keep clean. But there is an easy way to do it with the Easy Drum Cycler. Imagine your drum is like this flask in my lab. The dye in the flask is the residue that builds up in your drum over time. When I turn on the tap, new water comes in and the old water is completely cycled out. The Easy Drum Cycler operates in the same way. When you add bleach, connect the Easy Drum Cycler and turn on the water, you will completely kill all the bacteria and then cycle out all the bleach residue. It's the most effective way to maintain clean, good-tasting, drinkable water without leaving harmful residue. The Easy Drum Cycler is simple to use. Take a look into my garage and I'll show you a step-by-step process of how you can do it at home. So you've been a good Boy Scout or Girl Scout and you prepared your water. Great, you're halfway there. You might think that all you have to do to keep the water clean in your drum is to add a few drops of bleach or hydrogen peroxide or a couple of tablets of calcium hypochlorite. While all of these chemistries do well to clean your water, it leaves a residue in your drum and it doesn't do much to clean the actual drum. Did you catch that? You need to focus more on cleaning the drum and not just the water. Water utility companies have the same problem with bacteria in their tanks as you have in your 55-gallon drums. They solve that problem with a combination of chemistry and dilution. Or in other words, they use chemistry to blast the grime and then they cycle that chemistry out using more water. Get yourself a multi-purpose drum wrench like this one. You can find it online or you can find it at my web store. It has these two little knobs on it that you can affix to this tamper-resistant cap. Take it off, get your bleach, fill it with about 6 ounces. Pour it into your drum and replace the cap. Once you add the bleach solution, you should wait for 24 hours to completely kill any residual bacteria or algae that may be present. Okay, now that you have your drum sanitized, the water inside it is not safe for consumption. You want to cycle that water out using the Easy Drum Cycler. It's designed to push all the old water out and cycle in new water. Your drum cycler will come in packaging like this. Go ahead and take it out, and you'll see two components, a coarse thread cycler and a fine thread cycler. It's joined by this 3/4 inch female to female hose thread coupling. On top of the cycler, you'll see lettering that says water out here. This is the outlet port. On the other one, it says water in here. That's where water enters the system. That's referred to as the inlet port. Go ahead and grab the coupler and screw off the cycler that says water out here. Let's focus for a minute on the inlet port. The inlet port is a really important component because you've got a lot of pressure coming in from tap, up to 120 psi in some systems. You've got to find a way to reduce down that pressure. We found a way to accomplish that by designing in this pressure reduction feature here, which is a tiny little hole. Find the fine threaded opening and screw that in. You'll notice that this has another really important feature, which is this slot in the back. Once you get it hand tight, get your multi-purpose wrench, find the edge with just one slot. It interlocks to the back there and really torque it down so you don't get any leaks while you're cycling. Okay, now let's focus on the exhaust port. The exhaust port has a coarse thread, a little seal here, a slot for your multi-purpose wrench, and a 90-degree elbow that terminates in a male garden hose connection. Match this one up with a coarse thread, get it to hand tight, and then you'll want to grab your multi-purpose wrench. Find the side with one notch, and line that edge up with the slot on top of your component, and really torque it down. It's important to note that These components have a 90-degree elbow, so you don't put undue stress on your garden hose. If you get any kinks on the exhaust port and the water can't escape, it could be pretty messy. Okay, this is my hose that I have connected to my tap. This is a water-safe hose, which means that it's been FDA approved and doesn't contain lead. They're generally white. This is a marine hose, and this is what I recommend for you to use on your inlet port on your Easy Drum Cycler. Okay, so connect the water-safe hose to your inlet port. It's the port with the white 3/4 inch female-to-female garden hose adapter. You might be able to get this hand tight enough so that it doesn't leak, but if you don't, just get a channel lock wrench and make sure that it's tight enough. Okay, now it's time to connect the exhaust port up to the exhaust hose. Okay, I have the exhaust hose here, and it doesn't really matter what kind of hose you use for this as long as it's a relatively clean hose. I got this one for $10 at Home Depot, and it's about 25 feet. You want to go ahead and connect it to the exhaust port, and you can put the end of this hose out in your garden, out in the yard, or if your hose isn't long enough, just find a drain inside the house. The end of this hose is going to go into my kitchen sink. Make sure you check for any kinks that may be in the exhaust hose, because if the water can't escape, it can spell potential danger for your drum. Okay, so we've connected the inlet port, we've connected the exhaust port, and we are now cycling because I just turned the tap water on. The water is coming in from tap and it's going out into my kitchen sink. You might notice as you're cycling that there might be a little bit of crowning on the lid of the drum, which means that it's not completely flat like it was before, but there's a little crown. That just means there's a little bit of positive pressure inside the drum. There's no cause for alarm. I've designed this component to reduce the pressure down from 40 psi in your wall down to about 5 psi inside your drum. That 5 psi will lift the drum up a little bit and give you a little crowning, but at the end of the 1 hour of cycling, you can turn off the water and it'll return back to normal. One thing that you want to check to make sure that your flow rate isn't too fast is get a 5-gallon bucket and measure the water coming out of the end of the hose, and make sure that you're not getting more than 4 gallons per minute out of the exhaust hose. I'll show you. And we've collected about 3.5, not quite 4 gallons, which is an excellent flow rate. If you find that you're getting more than 4 gallons per minute, you might want to turn your water down just a little bit so you don't put any undue pressure on your drum.